Hey everybody, this is PJ, and you're watching my speedrun of the Famicom version of Bionic Commando, completed in 1450. And this run was actually recorded back in like February or so, and I never uploaded it because I always had plans to improve it, and then I just never got around to it. But the reason I'm uploading it now is because a major skip was found by Paku, which gives on the order of 70 to 75 seconds in the final stage. And it's going to be a very long time before I get back to this version, and before I get a run that matches the overall quality of this run with the skips. So I thought I would upload it, and it's more of a direct comparison with the only other Japanese version runner, which is Hotarubi. So I thought we would upload this. So this run's really neat. I really enjoy this one. It's much more difficult than the US version. In this stage in particular, we have this spider to deal with. We do this really cool iframe swing through him. He does not exist in the US version, and the gate that blocks us from getting to that door doesn't exist either in the US version. Or rather, it does exist, but when you fire, the gate is removed. So this run starts off really, really neat. Area 5 is a really cool stage. I'm a big fan of it. With my current abilities right now, it's not a terrible challenge. The main difficulty and the main variations in my clear times here all come from these frame-perfect optimizations that you can do. So this game has no jump. That's what Bionic Commando is known for. But you can emulate a jump kind of like what I'm doing there by starting a grapple and immediately canceling it. You get this little hop. Like there as well. I do it all over the place. It's like a core speed technique here. If you cancel your swing on the frame that you start at, you get hopped backwards instead of forwards. And in many cases, especially in that stage, the backwards hop can save up to half a second per instance. And there's another optimization when you're doing a vertical grapple in mid-air. If you press the grapple button again, the frame that your grapple line connects with the platform, you get instantly reeled in, and it skips the entire animation. So there's somewhere like 11 or 12 different situations where you could use those in that stage, and we generally aim for like 6. So that's where the difficulty comes from in Stage 5. Stage 6, on the other hand, is very difficult to clear. Especially in this version because there are more enemies, and because we're forced to play the stage early because of the truck route. So playing the stage second means that we only have 1 health, and we need that health optimally for a damage boost on the boss. So we have to play through the stage without taking damage. Fortunately, this screen is slightly easier, because instead of just throwing spike balls down here, these guys alternate with spike balls and these barrels or rocks or whatever you want to call them, those things, the smooth ones, they don't damage you. And it's really hard to do an optimal climb there. That certainly wasn't it. And the strats have changed a number of times since I've done this run. But that's one of the more slick screens to do. It's really fun to run. Alright, so the reason that we do the stages in a different order here is that the trucks take a slightly different path in this version compared to the US version. So the map route that we use in the US version is no longer a possibility here. Well, rather it is, but it's no longer optimal because we'll get into more truck encounters. And this is a slight variation in what the map route that Hotarubi used. So in exchange for gaining 6 seconds from map movement, we add some truck RNG in the very final movement of the game, which kind of sucks. Alright, so we completed Area 5. That got us the rocket launcher, which let us play Area 6. And Area 6 gave us the permit, which let us enter Area 14 to get the blue communicator. And that's one of 2 requirements to cross from Area 6 to Area 8. The other requirement is completing Area 3. I think there's some kind of plot reasoning behind it. I think there's some intel that you're supposed to gather here, but I honestly don't remember why it's a requirement. I just know that it is. But Area 3 is a rather fun stage. It's one of my favorites in this game. It has a really cool climb on the outside, and the interior section here is a lot of fun, really fun to optimize, and pretty tricky. So I'm a really big fan of this stage, and that was a pretty good clear. The only real differences here are that this version has some extra elevators, which kind of get in the way. in the interior section, and the man-eating plants and butterflies are in slightly different positions on the climb. Okay, so overall not too bad. This run, I honestly don't even remember where the major time losses are. I think the main reason I wanted to improve this is because I kept finding like a few half-second to 1-second improvements here and there, and it became possible to save like 6 or 7 seconds overall. But the run is pretty clean overall. Area 9 is a stage that is I used to really hate it, and now I quite enjoy it, especially in this version. The main thing we have to look out for here are these mine carts. They do not exist in these positions in the US version, but in the Japanese version they do, and they always show up on the same time after beginning the stage. So this stage becomes slightly cycle-based. You want to get there at that exact moment with the minecart positions. But it's really nice because you have to move really smoothly to get there in time, but you don't have to be completely perfect. So it's not a super tense stage. It's just a really good balance. My swings in the minecart section could have been done a lot more optimally, but it's really tricky to do in that stage in particular because the lag is wildly variable, and it depends on how many objects are on screen, and the number of objects on screen depends on how good your grapples are, among other things. So I took it a little safe there because if you try and aim for an optimal grapple, and you're trying to time it out based on your position using visual cues and whatnot, and then lag suddenly vanishes, then you've suddenly missed your window and you fall and you die and the run's over. So I opted for a slightly safer approach there. So the reason we do Area 9 is because that's where Super Joe is supposed to be held. Super Joe was the badass that the Resistance sent in to deal with the bads, but he got captured, so they sent in Spencer to go save him. In Area 9 we get the three-way, which allows us to break this barrier and enter Area 7, which is where Super Joe actually is. Area 9 was just a trap for us. So in this version, Area 7's a bit frustrating because there are extra helicopters, which we see right here, and they get in your way really badly. So you have to do some manipulations to make the bottom helicopter move left and get out of your way. And even then, sometimes the helicopters at the top get in your way and prevent you from making the big swings. The other thing that's frustrating here is that after breaking the barrier, we exited the stage to equip the rocket launcher. Like, the rocket launcher is so overwhelmingly good in this game that it's actually faster to leave the stage and re-equip it than to play through the stage with the three-way. Now, in the US version, it's about 4 or 6 seconds faster to use the three-way. There's a manipulation you can do on the boss to prevent him from pulling you off the ceiling, and you can just stay up there and shoot the core. But that manipulation, for some reason or another, doesn't work in this version. And there's a workaround that you can do, which requires a ceiling release and regrab, which is super tight. It's like a 2-frame window, and if you miss it, you lose like 8 seconds or something. So I opt to not go for it. Area 10 is also a lot of fun here, and it's a stage with this route that's much like Area 9, in that once the stage loads, there's a platform that's already in motion, and we want to hit it on its first cycle, or rather, the earliest cycle that we see. So there's a bunch of really cool movement here. You can clip through walls. This is the only stage in the game where you can clip through walls. There's all kinds of fun stuff that you can do here. Again, you don't have to play completely optimally to hit this cycle, you just have to play cleanly enough. So it's a challenge to get here in time, but it's not insurmountable. And landing on that platform on that cycle lets us take that free damage boost off the spikes to set up a really good ceiling grab there. And that strat's just beautiful. I absolutely love it. Since I did this run, I found a way to get through the stage even faster, so you overshoot that platform. You get there about half a cycle sooner, and instead of riding the platform, you just do some some super tight grapples to grab the pixel that we need to grab the ceiling afterwards, without landing on the platform at all. And that saves about 2 seconds over what I did in that stage. So I was hoping to do that in the improvement, but I never got around to it. Area 11, another stage that's just a lot of fun to play. Not a whole lot going on here. It's just I tend to jump the gun a lot and like get super greedy with my grapples and just miss. Here in particular, I tend to just miss that grapple and land in the fire, and then I have all the sads. But no such problem here. Like I said before, this run is just really clean throughout. There are some minor things here and there to improve on, but I don't remember there being any major mistakes. Okay, so this is the final map movement in the game, from Area 11 to Area 12. And with this map route, there's a chance that you'll get into this truck encounter. We need to reach this stage 1 pixel before the truck does. And in order to do that, we essentially need to win 9 coin flips out of 18. I forget what the odds are overall. I think it's 60% chance, and then like 71% if you reset after the first movement. I don't remember, but the odds are in your favor. But this is one of the reasons that this version really sucks to try and optimize. You have the RNG on the very last truck movement, and if you run into that truck, then the run's over. You lose 18 seconds, which is infinity in Bionic Commando time. And those reactor cores, they have random health in this version. So US version, they only take 2 shots, and it's super trivial to kill them. But in this version, they have between 3 and 5 health. And in this run, that core had 5, and this core has 4. And with the strategy that I used to kill them, I'm not guaranteed to get 5 shots. I'm guaranteed to get 4, with a chance of getting 5. So I missed the 1-hop cycle on the first reactor core. In this one, I missed the 4th shot because I got a bad bullet pattern, which is random. So yeah, between 3 and 5 health each, we got 5 health and 4 health, which really sucks. So the skip that Paku found is down here. It allows us to skip through the electric barriers. That part there that looks like a Mega Man X capsule, there's normally an electric beam between the top and the bottom, and that is disabled once we kill the reactor cores. He found a way to skip the first barrier, which skips the first reactor core, and then based on his finding and some observations that we had, Alyosha found a way to skip the second barrier. So we don't have to play those side rooms at all, which is both good and bad. They're extremely difficult rooms to play optimally, but they're just really, really hard and really frustrating, especially in this version. So those skips save a ton of time. In this version, about 75 seconds, I would guess. Okay, the Albatross. Albatross is pretty standard, same quick kill I've been using since 2013. The main goal is to land on that bottom right burner and do a vertical grapple while it's pushing us off to the left, and it allows us to grab the very rightmost pixel of the top burners, which is a safe spot. Always a scary kill, but it's really, really great. So yeah, any future runs of this are going to have those barrier skips, and they're not really going to be comparable to this run. This is a 1450, and I estimate that a 1330 is possible with those skips. So we shoot the cockpit, kill Master D. Now we just have the escape. The escape is the same as the US version, except that the guy that's here to try and stop us starts by moving right instead of left, and he'll walk all the way to the edge, so there's no safe pixel. But with 1 health free, we just damage boost off him anyways, and the climb is completely free. No danger. And you don't actually have to escape, you just pull yourself. You start a grapple on that platform, and then you can drop down, and the game's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. It's close enough. So, yeah, by RTA timing, this was a 1450, I believe. By SDA timing, it would be a 1443. And without the barrier skips, I would estimate that this could drop by about 7 or 8 seconds, somewhere around there. So we're not skipping, or we're not separating the barrier skip into a new category just because there are so few runners. It's not really worth it. So unfortunately, this run is going to be obsoleted by quite a lot. But it's important to me that I uploaded it at the very least, just to serve as a comparison between my run and Hotarubi. And again, because like I said, it's probably going to be a while before I get a run that's quite as clean as this one with the barrier skip. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. There's going to be a lot more Bionic Commando coming in the future. This new skip is very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to pushing the times down. So I hope you enjoyed the run, and look forward to more.